All right, and welcome back to tonight's chart review. Today, I did not take any trades today. I didn't really see the opportunity was there, in my opinion. I do think that there could have been some opportunity, but for me personally, I just did not see any opportunity today. We're gonna go over the exact action that we had, and I'm not gonna lie. Going into today, I found out that I never had B/ADJ on, B-ADJ on. So that really affected where my bias was, and I feel like I could have had a different bias today had I had that on because like if you guys don't know, if you guys do not have B-ADJ on your charts, you have to have that on your chart because that pretty much I don't know exactly what it does, but it adjusts for the contract rollover. Like there's always gonna be a different contract. So it kind of just adjusts for that. How we doing? Hey, we're doing fantastic. We're doing fantastic over here. But basically, we did not have any red folder news at all today. We didn't have any red folder news, which is also like kind of something I was aware of. I wasn't like too cautious about it. Like at the end of the day, the market's still gonna move regardless of if we have red folder news or not. But no red folder news on a Wednesday. That's kind of different. Tomorrow we have 8:30 news, so tomorrow will be cool. But today, this morning, I saw something very nice pre-market, and I pretty much let's just get straight into it. So basically, this morning in pre-market, we had this move lower, and now we have taken out all of these stops. We've now taken out all these stops. We have taken sell side, and then we start to get a sharper move higher. Once we take sell stops, and then we start to get this move higher. Like, I guess you can kind of look for something. This is London. I'm not even really worrying about trading this. I don't really even see. There could be an entry here, but for me, I would have more confirmation up here that we're going to these highs up here, than I would to going to these. Then to going to these highs when we're right here. I have more confirmation up here that we're going to go to these highs than down here. This isn't my type of trade, but we just had a sharp sell-off. And then we created a low here, and then now we're kind of working our way back up. So this is kind of when I start to see opportunity form at open or at or around. This was pre-market, so I didn't trade it. I wasn't really looking to necessarily trade it, but I was looking at the model while it was happening, but I never traded it. So we have a 15-minute fair value gap here. We also have a 15-minute inverse fair value gap here. I'm not going to mark out the inverse, but right now, price is getting held up by that 15-minute inverse fair value gap. We also have a 15-minute order block here, right here. And on top of that, we have an SMT at the lows. That SMT really confirms this smart money reversal. And what is so good about this trade and what I really like about this trade is that it's a model. It's a market maker buy model in an already existing market maker buy model. So now this becomes internal buy side when we have buy side resting here and then buy side resting here as well. And today I feel like kind of looking at this, I was bullish. I was looking at this and I didn't want to see this high get taken pre-market, but we ended up taking it pre-market. So I was really I didn't want us to take this high. Like I noticed that we were generating liquidity. What are we doing on this move lower? We are generating liquidity on the move lower to come back into that 15-minute fair value gap. Notice the bodies. Notice the 15-minute candles. A 15-minute candle closure has to invalidate this fair value gap. Not like little 1-minute candle bodies. A 15-minute candle closure has to invalidate this. So if you're looking at this and possibly saying, "Hey, we're breaking through this 15-minute fair value gap," no, we get bought right back up. We have another move. This is just generating more sell side, and then we sweep. We have another internal stop raid. I think that this was a pretty high quality trade, but I wasn't really looking to trade it because it was pre-market. We have a stop raid. SMT, that really shows you no willingness to go lower. We have low resistance liquidity now, and we have buy side resting up here, but like you only really care about low hanging fruit, and then you can leave your runners to run. So then we have we get bought up here. We now have this order block, which you could look to trade off of. We also have this inverse. We also have this inverse fair value gap. Bullish order flow is now starting to hold. Inverse fair value gap. Order block here. I think the entries here were just not as clear and clean. But I would say that inverse fair value gap, you also have that order block, could have been an entry. Then we get bought up. We have a fair value gap here. This now becomes a mitigation block. It's not a breaker, but this is a mitigation block that we end up holding. And I was actually looking at this. Look at this volume. We have this volume imbalance, and look at exactly where price goes to then get bought up. So this is kind of your first stage, and then this is your second stage, reaccumulation. So pretty clean market maker buy model. I feel like the entries weren't the greatest, but the model was clear. Like we have low resistance liquidity. Price wants to go to these highs up here. We come back down on 15-minute for value gap, 15-minute inverse, 15-minute order block, SMT at lows, willingness of price to go lower. And keep in mind, I was pretty bullish today. I also wanted to see this 15-minute fair value gap hold, or not hold, but I want to see a return into this 15-minute fair value gap, and wanted to see price come back within equilibrium of this range. But if we're looking at this, let's kind of zoom out to where we were when market opens, just to like kind of form that higher time frame. So we're now within this daily fair value gap, and my charts still showed us that we were like up here. So I didn't have B/80J on, and I swear I did. I swear I had that on at some point, but I guess it just wasn't on today, and we end up, so like yesterday we had no willingness to go within this fair value gap. Yesterday would have been the move for us to work our way back higher. But we kind of reject off this 4-hour fair value gap. ES still hasn't come within that 4-hour fair value gap. It's kind of, we'll talk about that a little bit later. ES still has not come within this 4-hour fair value gap. And then price, I just don't think it was the cleanest today. So like I didn't trade today. I didn't take a trade, and I'm completely okay with that. I'm completely cool with that. So market maker buy model complete. We have now taken buy side here. Now I am looking for this. I'm looking for this high to be the draw, but if we zoom out, we have a big wick here on the 1 hour, also the 4 hour as well. Let's look at the 4 hour. We have a big wick. I marked out consequent encroachment on the okay. Here's also where I could have went a little bit wrong today. I marked out consequent encroachment of this wick on the 15-minute. And I failed to really look at the other time frames. I pretty much just marked out on the 15-minute. And notice on the 15-minute how we come up and we close above it. We close above consequent encroachment. So that tells me that we might want to go to this high because we close above consequent encroachment. But I feel like I could have been too married to a bias. I feel like if I zoomed out, looked at consequent encroachment here. Like consequent encroachment on the 1 hour wick, like we ticked it. We ticked consequent encroachment. Look at the precision on the 1 hour. 1 hour candle, we have a big 1 hour wick. Where's the most sensitive point of that candle? Consequent encroachment. Look at exactly where price falls. And I feel like I should have zoomed out. I feel like I should have had a higher time frame premise with it. But I was just looking at that 15-minute. I was kind of zoomed in on that 15-minute, and I feel like, oh, we closed above consequent encroachment on the 15-minute when I should have zoomed out to maybe the hourly and used the hourly wick, because this right here would have probably or could have changed my bias. But okay, we have a big candle, we have a big wick. We're now back within this 15-minute imbalance. I want us to head to buy side, but we don't necessarily have to, because if we pull up, I'm going to pull up just so it's more visual. We have London low resting below us. London low is still left untapped. If we zoom out as well on the higher time frame, we are clearly in a market maker sell model. We have displacement through a low, pull back to the 4 hour fair value gap to then possibly head to this low and then this low as well. And that's exactly what we ended up doing. So zoom in. This is where we can zoom in. And this is then when we have an internal SMT. I don't love this internal SMT. Like, I don't think that you should like have a whole short bias based off this internal SMT. We do have that SMT here at the lows. So like I'm kind of bullish at this point. I want to see price go higher. At the time, sorry, let me mark this. At the time, this area right here, we had like a fair value gap here. We had an order block within here. We were kind of still holding this, but we have an SMT at the high. We go straight to that tick, straight to the tick on the 1 hour. And then we get some displacement lower. We get change in state of delivery here. Then we pull back straight to this order block. This can just be more confirmation that we want to head lower. This is now bearish order flow getting respected. Then we come lower. We pull back to this fair value gap here. This could have been a short opportunity. Looking back, this does look clean, but I just don't love it. Like, we have an SMT at the lows. We are in premium of this range, which I do like, and we are bullish on the higher time frame. So this, looking back, I feel like I was overly biased today. Had I seen this wick, had I seen this, and this SMT, and this order flow, notice this change in state of delivery. We get a change in state of delivery on the 1 minute. I don't really care too much about the 1 minute change in state of delivery. Let's zoom out. 5 minute candle close, prints bearish. We close below this order block. This now becomes your change in state of delivery. This is then when you're looking for a pullback to a fair value gap. We have a pullback to fair value gap, and then you could have let your runners run. Kind of was just a straight move to the downside after that. I don't like targeting a low here or a low here because this is an SMT, which shows us a form of manipulation. So I wouldn't like necessarily targeting here. So in terms of targets, I feel like the best target would have probably been this original consolidation, just for that low hanging fruit. But we do end up selling off. It's pretty much hindsight. This would have been your sell side you would have targeted. Say you took a fair value gap here. Nice 30-point move. Like, that's, if you can come to the market and if you can catch a 30-point move, that is all you need. You do not need a 100-point move, a 200-point move to profit. You don't need a 200-point move to be profitable. All you need is consistency. If you can find consistency within 5-point moves, 10-point moves, you will become profitable. Are you trading Asia market? I'm not. We're just doing chart review. That's what we do every single day. We always do chart reviews. What time frame do you usually trade? All of them. Price is fractal. So everything on the 15-minute should align. Ideally, if I'm getting my best trade, every single time frame is going to align. What I mean by that, like, your best trades you're going to get is when the 4 hours in line with the 1 hour, and that 1 hour is in line with the 15-minute, and then that 15 minutes in line with the 5-minute, and then that's when you can drop down to the 1 minute to get your best entry. And that's when you're going to get your best entries, so best setups. All right, after this, we kind of displace lower. I don't really see a single thing to enter off of. I don't really see anything to enter off of. So we get displacement lower. We're clearly bearish. I'm just not touching this. I was looking to possibly long this actually, which looking back, we had sell side resting here. I just don't see any opportunity. Like, taking a long here, which I was kind of long biased. Hey, thanks for the sub, bro. I appreciate it. I was pretty long biased, so I was waiting for displacement. We never get displacement here to the upside. This is just a pullback to this fair value gap to then head short. So I don't think that there was really any, clearly there wasn't any long opportunity. I was looking to potentially take a long, but we never get displacement through a high to validate us going back to this original consolidation. At the time, we have taken sell side here. I believe we might have had an SMT. I knew that we were also in like a new day opening gap right here, which I'm not really going to go too much over because I don't really have enough confluence with that. But I expected us to possibly return to this original consolidation. This now becomes your low resistance liquidity. This will likely get targeted at some point, but the matter is when. My guess is like maybe in an overnight session. But basically, we have this original consolidation that we trade away from to then head lower. And this is what I'm looking for. I wanted to see at the time some displacement higher to pull back to then target here. To then have something like this. We never got it, so I never took a trade. But basically, I was just, I don't know. I didn't like anything. I didn't trade anything, and I think that was good. I stuck to my rules, and that's how I traded. But basically, after that, after we sell off, we have now taken London low. We now have this big move. We have this big move lower in price. I am not looking for anything. There's a possible short. I don't even see a possible short. But then we take this higher time frame sell side level. As you can see here, if we zoom out, we have now taken sell side down here. We have sell side resting here. That's where sell side lies. We can zoom in. No, I wouldn't recommend zooming in because I don't really like anything here. So we take sell side, then we get like a market structure shift. I would like a market structure shift on the 5-minute a lot better. So maybe something like this. I feel like this would be, this is kind of a too early for a market structure shift, but I feel like this high getting broken kind of really validates the fact that we want to return to this original consolidation. What am I looking for? A market maker buy model, a market maker sell model. What do we have? Original consolidation to then trade away from to a higher time frame key level to then have first stage redistribution to first stage or second stage redistribution or reaccumulation. I don't really know. Like reaccumulation or redistribution, it's the same thing. I don't really have a name for it. And then we come back down, generating sell side, generating sell side, generating sell side. To then, this is then when we have our SMT here. This also is a 5-minute order block. Also is a 5-minute order block, and it also is a 15-minute fair value gap. I am only looking to potentially take soups if they line up with PD arrays. So like, for me personally, the only reason that soups work are if we're in a fair value gap. This is your turtle soup entry. We have that SMT. Price wants to go higher to that original consolidation. This would have been a good trade. Taking an entry here. Maybe waiting for that displacement, taking along here. After that displacement, stop at the low. Targeting that original consolidation, that liquidity. We also have reasons to go higher to possibly rebalance to equilibrium of this price leg and also to hunt this 15-minute fair value gap. Price has just moved from external range liquidity. We have just moved from external range liquidity, this higher time frame key level. Where is price going to reach now? Internal range. Like we're always moving from external range to internal range. Even without here. External, or that's not the greatest example, but external range, we're likely going to head towards and hunt towards internal range liquidity. And that's exactly what we're doing there. That I wouldn't have hated along here, but this was really the only other opportunity I saw throughout the day. I don't really care to catch this. Like at the time I'm at the gym, I don't really care too much about this. You use trend channels? No. Can you show me candle look settings real quick? Yeah, I got you. Here's my chart settings if you want them. And then canvas, I'll pull up canvas. But my background is this color. My background's this color. And I like my chart a lot better. But yeah, these are the candle settings I use. It's just it's like this blue and then it's all black. Yeah, I got you, of course. So I was kind of going over what I saw. Other than that, I really don't see much. Yeah, the SMT. A day like today it was kind of trickier. Nothing really popped out at you. We had a big sell-off today. If you missed out on an opportunity like this, bro, don't get down on yourself. There's always going to be more opportunity. The market is going to be open the same time tomorrow. I didn't take a trade at all today. I didn't trade this. Could I have traded this? Was there actual opportunity within this? Yeah, we just went over it. There was opportunity to trade it, but like I don't care to be in every single fluctuation within the market. You don't need to be in every single move, every single big move to the downside, every single rebalance. If you don't trade, it's fine. That just knows that, and that just solidifies what you're looking for. Yes, sir. No trade, no problem. 100%. I would agree with that. No trade, no problem. There's always be another day within the market. The market is going nowhere. Like I used to think that the market was gonna go somewhere like, oh, concepts are gonna stop working, brother. As long as there is a trader, as long as a trader is placing a trade, ICT concepts will work no matter what, because we're always going from liquidity to sell stops. Fair value gap to liquidity, fair value gap to sell stops, fair value gap to buy stops. That's always what we're doing. You can dumb it down to that. Internal range liquidity to external range liquidity. What did we do today? We moved from internal range liquidity to external range liquidity. Simple. Dumb it down. Dumb it down. Also, maybe you could say this was external range because we swept this high. I would say internal range liquidity. But yeah, we're always doing one of those. And like ideally, if you can simplify it even more to only trade one session, hey, are we moving from internal range to external range liquidity during the 950 macro? 100% do that. But yeah, that's all I really saw today. I didn't trade, like I said, didn't really see too much opportunity to. But let's see what tomorrow. What am I looking at going into tomorrow? Okay, we're gonna clean up all these drawings. I don't need any of these drawings. All right, this looks very nice. This is clearly, if you haven't been able to see it already, clearly sell side of the curve. We have buy side of the curve. Notice how long this took us. From this low to, I'll say this was 50 days. 50 days. Is that real time or is that like a market time? Because I don't think that's not 50 candles. So I think it's like 50 days of real time. 50 days. 50 days to do this. How long did it take us to do this? 5 days. 5 days. It took us 5 days to pretty much erase a 50-day move. That is low resistance liquidity. We want to be trading during this. We don't necessarily want to be trading with this. So now we have displacement. And we have taken sell side here. My eyes are drawn to here. So we have taken this prominent low. This could be a possible area in which we bounce off of. We have taken sell side liquidity. We now have a daily fair value gap. Where is equilibrium of this whole price leg? Nestled within that fair value gap. So we have taken this daily low. I am looking for us to possibly rebalance price to the daily fair value gap to then head lower. The reason why I really don't think that we're going to head lower at all or head higher, much these highs, is because of this daily fair value gap. We had this daily fair value gap. This daily fair value gap has now been broken with displacement to the downside. We had a huge energetic move here, and now we have created a daily fair value gap here. So I'm looking for something like this. Obviously, I'm still bearish, so price could just do something like this. But I am anticipating some sort of retracement to this daily fair value gap to then head lower. That is really what I'm looking for. Let's look at ES as well. Let's possibly confirm this bias. All right, let me remove all these drawings. I don't need all these anymore. All right, ES has now broken through its daily fair value gap. And ES as well. We also now do have a daily fair value gap as well. ES looks a lot more willing to sell off here. But we just had this move lower. I'm anticipating and I'm expecting something to look a little bit like this. It might not be as low, but I'm looking for this into that daily fair value gap to then head lower to these lows. The draw is still lower. I'm still anticipating sell side delivery. I think this is gonna spark something. We've now gotten displacement through lows here. Notice this whole time we never get displacement through a low. Even here, yeah, there might be like a little small daily fair value gap. Now is the first time in since here that we have a daily fair value gap. We have a daily bearish fair value gap. This is exciting. I'm very excited for what opportunity can come to. Obviously, we have this big range. I've already had equilibrium marked out. We have this big price leg. I'm anticipating us to possibly come back into equilibrium of this price leg. That's where my eyes are settled and fixated on. We now have that daily fair value gap. Intraday, I don't necessarily need. I don't care to predict like what price is gonna do. I don't care. I don't care to predict. That's not who I am, because like at the end of the day, like we're trading intraday action. All you really need is the 1 hour. It's all you really need. But by looking at this, It depends on what the overnight session does. We have now taken sell side liquidity on NQ. I'm going to be a little bit cautious, really framing a trade. I would like to see us come back within this daily fair value gap, come back within this. We don't necessarily have to. Obviously, now we have more liquidity generated above us. So this now becomes a possible high we're looking for and anticipating. Overall, tomorrow, I'm not expecting too much. It all depends. We have 8:30 news tomorrow. So let's see what happens. We could do, this is kind of what I'm anticipating. Maybe something like that. Maybe not that, but this is what I'm possibly anticipating. It all depends. It all depends what the market does. But I could possibly see something like this. I would say that we would work our way up, because now what is this? The fact that we didn't take this high, this is now generated liquidity up here to then for us to possibly run later. Anyone want to go over what they saw with price? Anyone want to go over what they were seeing, what they were looking at today, their analysis? Anyone take any trades they want to go over as well? I didn't see really any opportunity, honestly. You trade full time? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I trade full time. Full time? All time. And I basically, the only trade I like this would have been the best entry, but then after that, there wasn't really too many entries offered, in my opinion. There was no clear like second stage reaccumulation here. It was kind of just a big sell-off, and that's okay. Like, the market is always going to give you nice opportunity. Like, we just had a big sell-off today, so I didn't really see anything. I didn't really see too much. So the market's always going to be open tomorrow. There's always going to be another time within the market. But which time and sessions do you trade? I trade New York AM session and then New York PM session. Ideally I don't want to trade lunch, but it really depends on the model. But mainly New York. Yeah, that fair value gap was what my eyes were on as well. I wanted to see this fair value gap, but the reason why we realistically yesterday, if we wanted to come into that fair value gap, I feel like we would have. I thought that we were gonna come and draw into this high here, also within that fair value gap. But notice what we're doing here. The fact that we didn't draw into that fair value gap just tells us that we are generating liquidity here. Like, this is just us generating more liquidity to then possibly come back into the future. We have generated more liquidity. This will look nice for a future target. We have relative equal highs. That looks too clean. We now had a sell off. I want to see us come back up within here. I feel like that's where we're going to head, maybe for the rest of the week. I feel like, so Monday, I don't really like pay too much attention or any attention at all to like weekly profiles. But Monday we sold off. Tuesday we accumulated. Wednesday we sold off. We could possibly have a Thursday or Friday reversal to then do something like this. But we are clearly bearish on the higher time frame. We have now taken this low on NQ. I'll be a little bit cautious. My eyes are on here, are on this low. This now is also a big imbalance to the left of us, so we know that the market is going to possibly take this. I waited that buy side liquidity to be taken out and then reach that daily fair value gap, but it didn't. You want, yeah, same here. I was personally looking for us to come back up within here. We never did. I feel like there maybe would have been better opportunity, but like I was saying, like, this just builds us up for a future target. I think we're setting up for a TGIF. I personally don't care too much about TGIF at all. I don't. I know it's a thing. Like, I'm just gonna trade what price does. Like, I don't care too much about like weekly profiles and such at all. Like, I'm gonna trade what price does. If it is possible, if it does happen to be TGIF, then it happens to be TGIF. But like, if you come to the market and you're expecting and anticipating TGIF, I don't think that's a good. Yeah, the intraday draw is all I care about. All I care about is like, what is that 1 hour likely to reach for? What is that 15-minute structure? Like, the 1 hour and 15-minute is kind of what I've been using recently. That's kind of been my bread and butter. Like, I don't really, of course I look at every single time frame, but the 1 hour and 15-minute is really what all I need to take to frame a trade setup. Yeah, 1 hour, 15 minute, 5 minute. That's if you use the 5 minute though, I enter it off the 1 minute. I usually enter off the 1 minute. If you use the 5 minute, I would recommend using the 4 hour. But obviously, every time frame should align for you to get the best trade setup. Every single time frame should align for you to get the best trade setup. So if we're doing, and this is what I was saying as well. Like this trade earlier, this market maker, like zoomed out, it's not as clear, but this is a market maker buy model in an already existing market maker buy model. Like this is a market maker buy model, and then now this is a market maker buy model. We don't ever end up coming to this high, but that's where I was anticipating price to head towards. Let's see. Was there anything else? I kind of want to look at gold. Not really, actually. Gold has been I don't know. I don't really ever really pay attention to gold, but gold for me, we're just generating liquidity. That's all we're doing. Daily fair value gap is a breakaway gap. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I don't really use breakaway gaps, or I don't have conviction with breakaway gaps. But yeah, I could see us heading towards this. Okay, this is also what I was talking about. This is also a huge imbalance. So we have an imbalance nestled within sell side. So we have a sell side level, and we also have an imbalance. So price is likely gonna spool towards this. This is where my eyes are on. Like there's no way we do not head towards this low. And like this whole move upwards, we've just been generating imbalances. Like this looks good. This looks good. Like we're likely gonna have sell side of the curve delivered on higher time frame, which is what I was waiting for forever. On NQ though, I will say though, we do have a possibility. There is a possibility that we come back up and take these highs. But I'm not too worried about that. Again, I'm here to trade intraday action, so I don't need to know exactly where I don't really care about this. This doesn't really matter. These levels matter more. So the world's ending? Yep. Would you take that buy if price trades to retrace to that daily fair value? Would you take that buy if price trades to the daily fair value? What do you mean? Would I take a buy here? Is that what you're saying? All I'm going to say as well is that times like this now is when I feel like we're going to get a lot better action and a lot better setups. When the higher time frame is starting to look a little clear, starting to look more clear, that's when you're able to get your better setups. Because you know where the higher time frame is likely going to reach for. So therefore, the intraday, the smaller time frames are going to be a lot more clear. But yeah, that's all I really have for us today. I saw maybe I would say 3 setups, but I don't really like that sell. If you caught the sell, I feel like, yeah, good. But I just don't think opportunity was really there. And that's cool. There's going to be days when you don't trade. There's going to be days when you just sit back, you relax, you sit on your hands. So that's good. That's good as a trader. Today was one of those days. And I don't really have much else. I appreciate you guys for tuning into this. As always, I'll be live tomorrow morning for live trading. And